you were with us earlier this morning, at least virtually that is, in Xingquing Park, you must remember the line dancing we saw at the conclusion of our visit there. Check it out if you like. It's part 5 of this China trip, but do it later, because now we have to be moving on. We're heading back closer to the center of Xi'an, to a lacquer workshop and showroom. Even though the selection, quality, and pricing of the lacquer goods may be remarkable, they're not exactly my thing. So after a brief look around inside, I've stepped outside again to partake of some relatively scent-free fresh air until Hesse and the rest of the group come out. Just a few moments later, I see PRC soldiers performing hand-to-hand combat exercises in the field across the road. Reflexively, I grab a video camera and start recording. All the while nervous, I admit about the possibility of being arrested and having to defend myself against accusations of which I'm innocent. Innocent, honest! Yes, the life of a traveling, curious videographer can be risky sometimes. Well, the good news is I don't get arrested. The bad news is this is the last video I get of the exercises. A very serious-looking MP I had noticed stepped up behind me, tapped me on the shoulder, and without saying a single word, made it very clear that I had to put the camera away, or else, which I promptly did, hopped aboard the bus, and now I'm heading out to see more soldiers. These, the remarkable 2,200-year-old Terracotta warriors who are the replica remnants of the ancient army of Qin Shi Huang, first emperor of an essentially unified China. At the outskirts of Xi'an, and after a multi-course Chinese-style lunch, we'll now very shortly enter the park where more than 8,000 unearthed terracotta warriors, plus military horses and chariots, and various other artifacts currently reside. We can't help immediately notice how very crowded it is in here. Besides our small group, a great many other people have come today to visit the terracotta soldiers and to see the horses and military artifacts. Not only has this site become a major tourist attraction, Xi'an has experienced a boom unprecedented in its long and illustrious history. 40 years ago, Xi'an was a provincial town with a population of perhaps 1/3 Today, Xi'an is a metropolis of 5 million with a metropolitan area of perhaps 9 million or so. Many new-looking high-rise apartment blocks and commercial buildings appear to give testimony to the fact that a serious effort has been made to keep pace with the boom. Xi'an has 2 operating subway lines, and plans have been approved for several more. Each of the terracotta warriors stands about 6 feet tall. Each has a unique face. It is said that the faces represent the various ethnic groups throughout the ancient China that General Qin Shi Huang ruled. Same as the Egyptian pharaohs, Emperor Qin Shi Huang believed in a life after death. In fact, he was obsessed with it. The near contemporary historical account that we have indicates that 700,000 workers were involved in the construction. He wanted his tomb to be absolutely secret. The pharaohs, in order to protect their secret locations, used mazes of labyrinthine passageways. Emperor Qin Shi Huang's approach was to have killed everyone who knew the location of his tomb. So why then did the emperor have the replica terracotta warriors created and buried not far from his tomb? Perhaps because of their devotion and loyalty to him, he wanted them to also have an afterlife, even though he had to kill them. In our walk around the overlook, we've now reached the site of the well where Mr. Yang's shovel struck the first terracotta warrior and thereby propelled a 2,200-year-old army, plus the city of Xi'an itself, into the modern era. Back in the 1960s, which was a long time ago, but not so long before the unearthing of the terracotta soldiers began, the policy of Chairman Mao and the PRC was to erase or at least discourage the learning of China's ancient history. So for those like myself old enough to have been aware of China's so-called Great Leap Forward, these sites and this exhibition park seem perhaps even a bit more remarkable. By the way, Mr. Yang, the commune farmer whose shovel started all of this, though he hasn't gotten rich, has become a Chinese celebrity. He's in his 70s now and still works, but not as a farmer. He's been given kind of a public relations and entrepreneurial job here at the exhibition hall. Anyone who buys a book can have him sign it, autograph it if you will, for a fee that, considering, is probably reasonable. Except Tessie and I don't want to wait in the line, and more to the point, we don't need a book. As you can see, we've headed over, without further ado, to the very crowded room where there is this exhibit of large bronze chariots and horses.
I think I've got it. I'm not going to anymore.
I'm never going to get up, so you might, I might be here for the rest of the day.
Tessie's on the steps, tired. She doesn't feel like ever getting up. A couple of young Chinese women sit down beside her. Tessie offers to move over so she doesn't mess up the picture. No, please, they say. They want their picture with her. They want to show their friends the long-nosed American lady who they met.
Pointed to my nose, got a long nose. That's why she wanted a picture.
Because that would be a lot of people there, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, after a full and very interesting day, we'll be reboarding our bus back to the Grand New World Hotel, centrally located within the walls of ancient Xi'an. Following dinner, we've headed out into the old city. Though our ever-adventurous travel diva Hessie, and I, and a few others perhaps, might be up for more adventures, it's Monday night, and though not late, pretty quiet.
On the west gate, but this time of the day, it's already closed.
It's probably for the best that we'll be turning in early, because we have quite a day planned for tomorrow. We're going to check out right after breakfast and head for the airport, where we'll say goodbye to Jenny, board a plane, and then fly over the Himalayas to Lhasa, Tibet. And our next adventure